A court in Bangladesh has ordered police to bring a detained prominent journalist to hospital for treatment. Photographer and journalist Shahidul Alam was arrested after an interview with Al Jazeera on Sunday. His family says he's been tortured. Human Rights Watch wants the government to investigate reports that he was beaten in jail. Students have been demonstrating for 9 days for tougher traffic laws. Joining us live now from Dhaka is the Bangladeshi Information Minister, Hasanul Haq Innu. Minister, can you promise us that this reporter, this photographer journalist will indeed today go from, in effect, court/police custody to a hospital?
Well, Shahidul Alam is a renowned photographer and runs a gallery of photography. He has been picked up by the police. It's a fact and a correct story. But the other part is that he has been taken to the hospital, but I don't think so. He has been beaten up in the custody, but our law says that if he is beaten in the custody, the responsible police officer will be prosecuted.
Does that mean that he'll be? Does that mean he'll be in a hospital today or not?
Well, I'll have to check with the Home Ministry. I cannot exactly give you the details, but if there is a court order, then the government will comply with the court orders.
Does your country and do you as an individual believe in a free press? Just let me finish the point, sir, if I may. Do you believe in a free press? Because looking at the tapes, this man was doing nothing wrong. He was standing at a distance. He was photographing the teenage protesters. That was the only thing he was doing.
Yes, sir. The press in Bangladesh is totally free, but as you know, the journalist's professional hazard is that when there is a clash going on in a particular area or in any place of the world, sometimes the protesters or they are for or against whatever it is, sometimes the journalists are victimized, but it is not part of the government plan. The police cannot beat a journalist because we have a clear instruction that a journalist should work independently for their professional independence. So beating up a journalist is condemned by the government. I personally yesterday issued a statement condemning the beating up of the journalist, and I wrote a official letter to the Home Minister, the Security Minister, to bring those persons responsible for beating up the journalist to court and justice.
Given that Bangladeshi social media is, as of now, flooded with images of how your security authorities have been mishandling this, because that's the central allegation, has there been a point in the past week or 10 days when you feel the government could have handled this better?
Well, if you look at the children's movement of safe roads, that has been clearly handled in a very amicable manner. Our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina clearly instructed the law enforcing agencies to take care of the children. And if you look into the details of the first 5 days, there is no such incident on the roads. The children were there, the police were protecting them, helping them to check the vehicles. But at the fag end, when the agreement was done, the demands were met, and the government has started executing the demands. Then at the fag end, certain vested quarters tried to divert the movement for political personal interests.
But that is Minister, you're being slightly disingenuous there, are you not? Just to interrupt you again, sir. You are being slightly disingenuous there, because the reality of the situation is this. You had a spontaneous, leaderless movement calling for better road safety being enacted, or framing it in terms of legislation, because 2 people were killed by a speeding bus. That's an established fact. But what happened then was one of your government ministers reacted to that and said, well, if this was in India, it wouldn't be a problem and no one would react to it. But he was a family relative of the person who runs the bus company. So then the protesters felt they had to carry on protesting, not so much against traffic legislation and traffic deaths on the road, demonstrating against the government.
Hello, I cannot. Hello, hello,
Hello, Minister, can you hear us?
hello. I don't. Okay, I got. Yes. Now I can hear. Let me answer this question. Yes, the fact is, my colleague, the Minister Shahjahan Khan, did smile, reacting to the killing of the children by bus, and immediately the next day he was ordered to say sorry, and he said sorry for that publicly, and went to the children's house and to give condolences to the family. So the point is that the children asked for a sorry, and the minister said sorry, and that has been settled up. So the government then concentrated on the 9 demands raised by the children for road safety, and we think they are very genuine demands, and the Prime Minister did agree to comply and execute all the demands. So the children had no confrontation with the police forces. There are sporadic incidents on the 5th day in certain parts of Dhaka, as far as I remember, in 3 parts. One is in front of the ruling party's Awami League's office. So there is this confrontation. Confrontation is not against the children. It is a sporadic confrontation incited by a certain vested quarters, where a few students may be injured. But as far my report goes, the persons who have been injured this side or that side, all have been released after giving first aid.
Okay, I don't particularly want to get into a conversation about who you think may or may not actually be behind this, but I'm just going to read you a direct quote here from the Asian Human Rights Commission accusing your government of hiding the actual death toll from the original bus accident because the government behind closed doors took a quality judgment here. You wanted to shut it down because you felt the need, the pressure to react to a situation that you, and I'll use the word again, you mishandled it from day one.
I don't think so. It was a large movement by the children. The government never mishandled it. All the children are happy. They went back to the schools. And the allegation of mishandling the situation, I think, is not to the facts. Because all the children are now in their schools and they are happy, and the government is executing their demands.
One last final point, Minister, in about 30 seconds.
And
Can you react to for us one last claim? Over the last several months, numerous incidents where peaceful protesters, because they're also angry about the quota system that exists in your country, yes or no, have they been beaten up? Yes or no?
Yes, there is a question of quota system. The government
Minister,
is looking
I've
into
got
the
to stop
matter.
you there. We're all out of time, but thank you so much for your company. You're watching Al Jazeera.